Motivation feels good. And I remember back when I was an athlete in my early 20s and I was at uni just doing my thing, motivation was something that kept me going. I had to realize nowadays that motivation is only going to be there for so long. It's like up and down. It's like a roller coaster. You'll have motivation this day that you're doing something great, and then you won't have motivation one day when you wake up out of bed and you're just not feeling it. So when I was an athlete, one thing that was good was that it kept me disciplined. It kept me on this course of like I had to be on schedule. I had to go to my meetings. I had to go to practices, or else I wouldn't be part of the team. So it kept me disciplined to a certain extent, but I realized that when I got older, motivation really carried me through when I was an athlete. So motivation was there when I seen what I can accomplish, like these look cool, rings look cool, the trophies look awesome. I needed the status, like I needed all those things that that kept me motivated. But it was really the discipline that helped me win, and the discipline that helped me accomplish the things that I accomplished. Discipline really helped me get to where I wanted to be. And it wasn't a fast journey. It was a kind of a slow growth. It was like the slow grind. So what happens truly when motivation just goes away in your life? Discipline doesn't really care about your mood. It's all about just showing up. Versus motivation, it's so fleeting. And that's something that you need to realize when there's something that you really want to accomplish. There's some goals that you want to reach. There's a lifestyle that you want to live that you might feel like it's just bigger than you. That's where the discipline comes in. And that's something that I really had to learn. Previous to me creating videos on YouTube, I was traveling and I started this journey of solo travel. I'm gonna live abroad for a little bit and just see how it is. And what I really had to learn was that distractions will always be there. Motivation will fleet. It's all about sticking with your daily routines and really get into where you want to be. If you don't have the discipline and the steady goal, you're gonna be all over the place. Your brain is gonna be here, your brain is gonna be there, your brain's gonna be, and then you'll eventually get to accepting where you are instead of fighting for what you really want to go after. So fight for what you really want to go after, but just know that it takes discipline to really get there. Motivation may seem like it is everything at the moment. Like you're motivated to go to the gym because you've seen this crazy edit on TikTok, or you've seen this crazy edit on YouTube, and it's like, winter arc, or this guy is killing it in the gym, I need to be doing the same thing. Motivation may seem like the best thing at the moment, but truly, do you have the discipline to do that on the hardest day of your life? Like say you wake up out of bed and you're just not feeling it, or you're kind of groggy, you don't really feel as good today. So are you gonna show up to the gym that day, or are you just gonna sit in your sorrow and just be depressed and just sit this one out? Discipline is really about following the process and showing up every day. When you truly know what you want, I feel like discipline comes so much more easier. Having a clear vision of where I want to be and where I want to go, it makes me so much more willing to be disciplined versus back then where it's like I don't really know where I want to go, or I want to do this, or I want to dive into this, and I want to do, which there's no bad reason. I mean, there's nothing bad with just trying things out, especially when you're young. Like we got to try things out. We got to see what we're best in, and we got to see what we can grow in. But eventually you got to see what you really want to do. What's the life that you really want to live? Where do you want to be? What does that person look like? Once you figure those things out, I feel like it's so much more easier to be disciplined, because you now have that thing sitting in the back of your brain. Like every day when I don't feel like doing this thing, I won't get to that level or that lifestyle that I want to be at. When we look into motivation, it's really about sometimes dopamine. I realized that I had plenty of distractions, video games, social media, and all the other things that young people are interested in these days. I'm into the same things. I want to scroll on my phone. I want to do those things. But at the same time, those things can be bad for you. And when you look at the things that motivate you versus having discipline, you're more so looking at dopamine or habit building. And when it comes to dopamine, you know that you're just getting your fix for the day. You're scrolling on social media. You're distracting yourselves from the things that you really want to get done. I'm so guilty of this. Like I will scroll on YouTube. I will be on my computer. I will download a new game that I feel like, oh yeah, this is the game I'm gonna be hooked on this week. I'm gonna be playing this for a minute. And you just distract yourself from doing the things that you really want to do, or the things that you know that you have to do to get to where you want to be. It was a book that I read called Atomic Habits, which I recommend this to everybody. When that book talks about habit building, it talks about just starting small. And I feel that this is probably the best way you can go about discipline, is just starting small. Maybe you don't wake up early in the morning and you want to start waking up early in the morning. So maybe you just start to do that first. I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. I'm going to wake up at 7 a.m. and that's it. And then you start building onto that habit. So after a while, you start waking up early, or now I'm going to go start running. I'm going to do a little run for the day. That'll get me started. It'll get my energy up. It'll get me going for the day. And then I'm going to go to the gym. Or it just builds, it compounds. And once you get into those good routines, you'll realize that your life will start to change drastically. And it's all because you started forming those little habits. And what do those little habits do? They contribute to discipline. It really helped me when I finished being an athlete and I came into the real world, and I was like, I just didn't have the motivation to do much. Like, I didn't have the motivation to go after the things that I wanted, or I seen, I had visions about in my head. I just kind of sat on it and I distracted myself. And then when I felt that motivation to do those things, it would come in spurts. And that's why I say motivation is just, it's not good sometimes. It'll come in spurts and it'll go away. You have to have the discipline. The thing is that motivation may get you started, but discipline will help you finish the race. When you're walking with God, it's not about just waiting for those moments and those spurts of just inspiration and joy. It's about being truly faithful and knowing that, good or bad, I know that God got me, and this is just the journey that I'm on.